on the next Rick and Morty.
World Ender is back, and this time he's out to end more than worlds.
It's Maximus, Renegade Star Soldier!
Sorry I'm late. It was happy hour.
I was also late because of my drinking and mentioned it to zero applause.
Catch a new episode of Rick and Morty Sunday at 11:30.
Morty, right?
Whoa, yeah!
I never forget a kid. What do you say, Vindicators? Let's make this 3 for 3.
Did he say 3 for 3?
Did he say he never forgets a kid?
Rick and Morty doing a straight-up Marvel movie parody. This is going to be so great, so let's break this down. But it's actually the second time that they've done any kind of Marvel parody, like a legit Marvel parody. If you remember during Total Recall during Season 2, they had the Hulk Hands musical.
Reminds me of that time we all got stuck in the elevator together. You remember that? After the Hulk musical?
Jerry, buttons don't work better if you hit them harder, and foam fists don't make you strong.
I know. Friends make you strong. I watched the same musical you did.
Why couldn't I bring my portal gun?
Why did all the drinks have to be extra large? Oh, the Hulk, I just got that.
Just pee your pants. I did it the minute we got stuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shame me. At least when I'm disgusting, it's on purpose.
Oh, y'all, we're gonna be fine. I've always been here for you guys, and I always will be. Ha ha!
Still one of my favorite episodes, but in addition to that, even more Marvel crossover, Dan Harmon legit wrote for the Doctor Strange movie. He helped them punch up a couple scenes. I'll talk about that at the end of this, though. But there's a new round of the merch giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. So if you couldn't tell, this week's guest star, Maximus Renegade Star Soldier, is Christian Slater. Maybe there'll be some Mr. Robot references or some classic Christian Slater movies from the 80s. He's done so many things that are worthy of being parodied, but he's sort of the Star-Lord amalgam Iron Man character, the prototypical Marvel superhero that just sort of stumbles into victory each time through his redeeming qualities. Like, he does something really stupid, but then somehow manages to save the day by the end, which is kind of like Rick. He has this towering intellect, but winds up creating most of his own problems that he then has to solve, but usually does so by choice in order to avoid real-life problems like going to therapy, like turning himself into a pickle. But in reality, Rick is a superhero character, which is why it's kind of funny they're poking fun at themselves when Rick says, "I also mentioned that I was late because of my drinking problem," to zero applause. Like, it sounds like he's really pissed and a little bit jealous that Morty worships this character that seems to have a lot of the same qualities that he has, even though he's doing the exact same things. So this sounds like one of those adventures where Morty would normally be nagging Rick like, "Why are you doing this, Rick? This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this." But this time, he's super excited because he's with his heroes and Rick is really pissed off about that. "I should be your hero. I'm the smartest person in the room here." But the title of the episode, Vindicators 3 Return of World Ender, is just a play on Infinity War, the third Avengers film, in their World Ender character, probably an amalgam for Galactus, the destroyer of planets.
I am Galactus, devourer of worlds. I require a herald to seek out new planets to consume.
But most of you are probably able to pick out which Guardians of the Galaxy characters these people are meant to be. Like, this is obviously their Rocket Raccoon, only he's an alligator. This is their Drax, only he looks like he has kryptonite around his neck. This is their Groot, except it looks like he's made of mud or putty. His face actually looks pretty close to the face of the original version of Groot. It was relatively simplistic compared to the Groot of today. But this actually looks a little bit like the female Starhawk, Alita Orgord. She actually appeared during the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 post-credits scene. In the comics, she's the wife of Starhawk, Stakar, played by Sylvester Stallone. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to go to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they just released it on home video today, so you could actually walk out and buy it if you wanted to. Their logo is just an upside-down Avengers A. We saw some more footage of them in the original Season 3 trailer where they're going after this actual monster here. It did look like a Guardians of the Galaxy parody, but in reality, it's just a parody of all big Marvel sequels. And if you're a big fan of Dan Harmon or you've been following him since his Community days, you probably heard of the Dan Harmon Story Circle, which is his way of breaking down the Joseph Campbell monomyth in his creative process for writing, like how he gives people problems, then solves them through the course of their character development. During this other clip from the Season 3 trailer, Morty runs into the garage and says, "Rick, the Vindicators need us."
We're being called to assemble by the Vindicators!
I refuse to answer a literal call to adventure, Morty. Let it go to voicemail.
And when Rick says, I don't answer literal calls to action, it's sort of their way of making fun of the copy-paste, paint-by-numbers way that a lot of these scripts for big Avengers-style movies get written. Like if you went into the office of any writer in Hollywood, you would probably find a copy of Joseph Campbell. So if you feel like a lot of big comic book movies or big blockbuster movies feel like they're the same, the stories resemble each other a lot, it's because most of them are based on this same framework. So this is their way of making fun of that, as well as making fun of a lot of Marvel-specific tropes. So it'll be fun to watch this and go back and say, watch Avengers Age of Ultron. I would actually recommend that. Like after you watch this episode, go watch a big Marvel movie and see how many things you recognize that they made fun of during Rick and Morty. But just like normal, I'll do my Easter egg video on Monday, so there'll be a lot of extra fun stuff just because I normally do a lot of comic book videos. So this is like the weird crossover where it all comes together. But as for Dan Harmon actually writing on the Doctor Strange movie, I believe the scenes that he helped them out with were during the Dormammu stuff when he was going into the multiverse. Because pretty much anybody in Hollywood, like I says, have that Joseph Campbell book, they could write basic dialogue. But some of the things that Dan Harmon does really well, especially because of his recent work on Rick and Morty, is deal with the idea of the multiverse. So I think that he helped them punch up some of their really weird scenes, like the Dormammu I come to bargain scene.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
I don't actually think that he's ever openly taken credit for any of that. Usually when writers ghostwrite or they do punch-up on scripts, they don't talk about it because there was another writer that did most of the work and they want to give them the credit. So everybody, let me know in the comments, what do you think about them doing a big Marvel parody? I think it'll be a good episode anyway, but it's just that much more fun when you recognize a lot of the Easter eggs. Like, oh, there's Galactus, their World Ender. And they got a bunch of other high-profile guest stars, so we'll see if there's any others in this episode, because like they had both Danny Trejo and Susan Sarandon and Peter Serafinowicz in last week's episode. So it's not like they just have one special guest star per episode, but this should be pretty fun. So leave all your requests for Rick and Morty bonus videos. I've got some new Game of Thrones I'll post tomorrow, and I'll say congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Astroxy. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. You can click here for my episode 3 Easter eggs and references, and you can click here for brand new Game of Thrones. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.